have a question period. If you cannot behave respectfully,
This is your nation's flag.
if you cannot behave respectfully, then leave.
Police asked Congressman Sean Casten to cut his town hall meeting short in Downers Grove last night after he was confronted by a man who said that he was upset by the congressman's support for Israel. Some constituents were escorted from that building. Joining me now to talk about this, Congressman Casten, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain to us, Congressman, what you saw happen last night?
Yeah, I mean, it's all very sad. This was my 5th town hall I've done since Donald Trump was elected. It was my 2nd one this week. We've had overwhelming numbers of people who are really concerned about what's going on, the attacks on the Constitution, the attacks on the law, and that's what most people came there to see. There was a small group of people who showed up and disrupted and started yelling about some issues that are important. I mean, I've been very critical of the Israeli government over these last several years. And they chose to engage in a way that ultimately we were unable to continue the town hall. I left the room at one point to try to bring the temperature down. The police at that point came to try to get things under control. Most of the crowd was not happy with what these individuals were doing. We tried to restart again, and the police then came and asked us to stop because we got to a point where I think they were concerned that the audience members were going to start fighting with each other, and you don't want to be in that situation. And I say I'm sad because town halls are a place where we can show that we can respectfully and civilly disagree with each other.
Right.
And that didn't happen last night.
I know Downers Grove police, as you mentioned, were there and they did get involved, but were there any arrests stemming from this, or were people just escorted from the building?
I am not aware. That the police did ask us if we wanted them to engage in pulling people out, and at that point we said, look, if these people are going to disrupt, let's take them out so we can try to get back. So I know there was a threat of arrest if people didn't leave. To the best of my knowledge, no one was arrested, but they were escorted out by police.
Mm-hmm. How do you plan on having your town halls? Because you have had several of them, unlike some other members of Congress. How do you go forward after this, or what would you like to happen at your next town hall?
Well, I mean, look, what the hard thing here is that since getting into office, I've always felt that when things are really contentious, you need to be out there in public. The worst thing that we can do is go back to our corners. And I shared with the room in one of the breaks last night, during Trump's first impeachment trial, I did a town hall, and I think Crane Chicago Business referred to me as running a suicide mission because it was going to be so contentious. And there were a lot of people who came in full MAGA regalia who did not like my position. They expressed that opinion, I answered them, and then they sat down. And there's something that is just sad to me in this moment, that within my brief time in Congress over the last 6 years, we've gone from having something very contentious that people could say, when I go to a town hall, I want to make my voice heard, but I also want to respect that everybody else has a chance to have their voice heard as well, to this moment now where it's just about yelling. And, we can certainly do telephone town halls where that doesn't happen. I suppose we could go to doing invite-only town halls, but that's kind of a cop-out. That's not the purpose of a town hall, But what I don't want to do is a situation where the police who are there to protect us feel like they're unable to do their job serving and protecting the community because they're concerned that, some provocateur might come and cause one of our events to become more violent. So I think we'll be much more deferential to where law enforcement feels comfortable in the near term.
Congressman Sean Casten, thank you for walking us through what happened last night in Downers Grove. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.